In this lesson, we're going to learn about what CSS is and how it works. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it controls the look and layout of a website, whereas HTML only is the content of the website, such as the text and the pictures. To give you an example of this, if we go here to the recreation.gov website, you can see the layout of the text and the different icons and just the basic structure and style of the website. If we go and disable the CSS, this is the HTML. Doesn't look very good. It's basically just a block structure of the text and the pictures, whereas the CSS tells everything where to go and how to look. So it makes the site look much, much better. If we look at another example here, you can see this page has completely different looks based on changes to a style sheet. All the content is the exact same, but it's changing based on the rules in the CSS, and this is what it looks like without any style. So there are 4 different types of CSS. There is inline, internal, external, and browser. Let's start at the top here. Inline CSS is what you have already learned. So if we go here, you can see I've got a bit of HTML content on this page. I've got an H1, and I've just got a simple table. So if we go into the H1 and add a style equals quotes, and we put in color red, you can see that when I save that, it turns red. So it's called inline styles because you literally are putting those styles in the line of code. So let's go ahead and remove that and save it. And the next style type is called internal CSS. So you're actually still putting your CSS rules in the page itself, just not in the line. So if I go in here between the head tags and add a couple of style tags and split those apart, I can put any of the CSS rules I want between these two and it will apply to the whole page. So for example, now I put in H1 so I can talk to that H1. That's my selector. Put in some curly brackets and then do the same thing you already know. Color and then red. When I go ahead and save this page, you'll see that it turns red. So that is internal CSS. If I had multiple H1s on this page, they would all turn red because you're telling all H1s to turn red. Now the third type of style, so let's go ahead and take this out, is external CSS. So you're basically using one CSS style sheet, one page, and that way you can control multiple pages. So you could change every single page on a website by changing one simple rule. So here's how you create an external style sheet. So you're going to go File, New, then you're going to save it as style.css. Looks like we've already got one, so I'll go ahead and save it. Opens up, it's blank, and now I do the same thing. I put in my H1 selector to talk to my H1s, curly brackets, and then color red. Now, if I save that, and I go here, you'll notice it hasn't yet done anything, and that's because I haven't linked this HTML page to this style sheet. So all I need to do is put a line of code here in the head. You can always Google it if you forget. You can also look on this page. Here's the link. Another way that you can add it is by going to the brackets skeleton extension here and putting in an external style sheet link. There it is. So it's just a link. It's a style sheet. That's the relationship. And then you put in whatever you named it. And in this case, it's in the same folder. So that's all we have to do is just put the name of it, style.css. And as soon as I save this page, nothing works. So why did it not work? Let's go look. If the same thing happens to you, you just need to pay attention to where you have saved things. If you look in the folder here, I have inside the CSS introduction folder, that's where I've got my index file. And I'm telling my style sheet to look in that same folder for a style.css. It's not there. I saved it in the wrong location in the CSS layout folder. So I could go here and say .. and then go back a folder and then go into that folder and then go to the right file. In this case, I don't actually want to do that. I just want to move that file. So I'm going to cut it and then I'm going to put it into the right folder. So it's now in the same spot as the index file which closed it here in brackets. So now I just need to reopen it. So go to the right folder, open up my style sheet. And now if I save this file, it should work, and there it is. So just make sure things are in the right place. But now that we've done that, anything I add to this style sheet is going to change here on the index page. And as long as every single page in your site has that same link to that style sheet, it'll change every single page. So the last type of CSS we're going to look at is called browser CSS. This is default CSS. This is nothing that you add. Chrome, Firefox, whatever it is, will add its own different basic default CSS to your pages. That's why sites can look a little bit different in different browsers. Sometimes that can cause problems, however. And for example, let me show you. If we go and put a background color onto this H1, and I save that, you'll notice that it's pushed down from the top of the page and pushed in. And I didn't add any padding or margin, but it still did that. So in order to get rid of that, we could simply reset it. So for example, if we go to the H1, whoops, we're already in the H1, and we put in a margin top of 0, you can see that pulls it up. It's not all the way there yet, but it's getting closer. And then the rest of it, there's still a little bit of extra space on the outside, left edge, right edge, and on the top. That is the body. That's the entire page has some default browser CSS. So if we go add some rules to the body and say margin 0 all the way around, you'll notice it's now flush. So you can get rid of that browser CSS if you need to.